But the fact is, even though this should not be the case, it seems we're going to be a little bit on our own here. And because of that, it might be worth going over some basic rules that health experts say we should all absolutely be following to help stem this outbreak. Individuals have been doing their best to spread good information online, including a number of social media celebrities on TikTok, none more delightful than this one.
It's Corona time. Hey, it's Corona time right now. It's Corona time.
I mean, that is excellent. That TikTok hamster is now my favourite thing in the world. And let's actually go over what that very wise ball of fluff was just telling us. First, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. That's really good advice. It's basically the time it takes to sing Happy Birthday to Oprah twice, so it's time well spent. Second, make sure you cough and sneeze into a tissue, your elbow or your upper sleeve, not your hand. And disinfect frequently touched surfaces daily. Third, wear masks only if you have symptoms or you are a caregiver, as it is important that there are enough of these masks available for medical professionals and those with respiratory conditions. And finally, stay home, especially if you're sick, but also if you are not. That last one is part of what's called social distance. Social distancing is absolutely crucial right now. The idea is to avoid crowded places, cancel social engagements, avoid unnecessary travel, work from home if that is an option for you, and if you need to buy groceries or use public transit, try to do it at off-peak times. Now, obviously, that is not all feasible for everyone, but if you truly have no choice but to go out, it is vital to protect yourself and others by keeping a distance of at least 6 feet from other people. But the reason why social distancing is so important is because it can help us flatten the curve. It's a phrase you've probably heard a lot this week. And what it means is basically this: slow the spread of the virus so we don't overwhelm the healthcare system. We only have so many ventilators and hospital beds, and if cases spike all at once, they could max out our capacity. And I know that there is a temptation to think, well, hold on, this is America. I'm sure we have enough ventilators for even the worst case scenario. We don't. We really don't. So it is imperative that we spread cases out over a longer period of time so that everyone who needs care can get it. And yes, proper social distancing involves some sacrifice, but this is a critical thing that we should all do for the more vulnerable among us and for healthcare workers who are going to be in for some time to come. For example of what it looks like when you do not flatten the curve, just look to the hardest hit areas of Italy where cases have so overwhelmed the system. Doctors have had to make very difficult choices about who gets potentially life-saving treatment and who doesn't. And in addition to attempting to quell the spread of the virus, we should also be doing everything that we can to contain the spread of misinformation. Be careful before forwarding or retweeting stuff that you do not know to be true, because our personal actions are really going to count here. And even if you are not worried about getting this virus, other people, especially the elderly and the immunosuppressed, simply don't have that luxury. So it is a good idea to treat these precautions like you would a flu shot. You don't just get a flu shot for you, you get it for everybody else. We all have a real responsibility to one another right now, because the choices we make in the coming days and weeks will contribute directly to how bad this crisis gets. Look, I know things are currently very scary, and things are going to be weird for a while, for weeks, and honestly, more likely months. And the fact that that is true makes it even more important that going forward, we're going to need to look out for one another, and not just in terms of containing the transmission of this virus, but also in terms of the economic impact that this is going to have on people who may well not be able to weather it. This is going to be an unsettling and potentially lonely time. So think about calling older relatives or neighbours or just anyone that you know who may be vulnerable or feeling isolated, one small way you can help is by donating financially to your local food bank. Try your best, I know it's hard, but try your best to tune out and not pass on misinformation in the coming weeks from sources like, sadly, the president, and instead pay more attention to trustworthy information from the CDC, experts like Anthony Fauci, and of course, TikTok hamsters. Always TikTok hamsters. Take care of yourself, take care of each other.